Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats? I hope you got me something to eat. Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party. I've been waiting here all day to act like a fool this way. Welcome to the after party. Join us in the after party. Oh, shocking and dabbing, maybe some microphone grabbing at the after party. What's up, everybody? I wasn't even sure if Paige was going to make it.
I was here the entire time. What are you talking about?
Were you?
Yeah.
What is this on my desk? I think my cat's been up here or something.
Lies. That's
Really
what's there.
weird.
Lies.
We will have a special guest joining us to discuss some stuff in the beginning, but he can't stay for the whole stream. He'll be here in just a moment. So we'll be doing that. We got a super chat already, and then I've got to talk about what's going on in the neighborhood. Flash Freak, $5 super chat. Any Team Eric member says in the back half. Oh, wait. Is this a spoiler for Smallville? Because I don't want people to get spoiled if they're planning on watching it. In the back half of Smallville season 4, and Erica Durance is the best Lois. Clovis, I'm sipping. Does this get me a Pagey L or a Pagey W? What do you think, Pagey? Pagey L, Pagey W? Are you Team Clovis?
No, in Smallville it should have been Lana.
Oh,
It didn't matter. I think doesn't everyone agree with that?
I mean, apparently Flash Freak doesn't. So
I know there's nothing against Erica Durance, but the story always suited Lana. And then I remember that like Lana got all weird because they didn't go down that route and they ended up having to write her off.
Mm-hmm.
She was allergic to kryptonite or something. Or allergic to she was made of kryptonite. Wasn't it just like she was infused with kryptonite, so then Clark couldn't be near her or some shit like that?
I don't remember that one. As you can see above Pagey's head there's going to be little clouds that'll tell you what we're talking about throughout the stream. And the first cloud is...
Oh, I thought that was my new nickname. Sorry.
No, it could be. You could be a hot topic. We have a few things we're going to talk about, and we have a special guest. Canada Graphs is going to be here with us because one of the first topics we're going to talk about, we are going to review Titans, or we're going to talk about Titans and Stargirl, but the hot topics we're going to cover includes some photos, some set photos of his from this week. So I thought it'd be cool to have him on to talk about those. But before we get to that, my entire neighborhood is out of power. It's been out of power since about 5 hours now.
Looks very bright where you are. So are you taking everyone's power?
Well, no, we years ago, one of the things that I invested in for the house was a gas to electric generator that runs. I don't know if you can hear it or not. It's like on that side of the house, but basically when the power goes out, the gas line kicks in and there's a machine that converts that to electricity. So we're the one bright dot in a neighborhood of like no power. I was actually thinking about it. I don't know if I could do it or not, but I think if I go through StreamYard on my phone, it'll let me join again under another box. And I was just going to go outside and show people how dark it is, but we'll see if maybe I'll do that if the power doesn't come back up before the end of the stream. But
I swear the amount of power outages on the East Coast every year is like 9 times everywhere else combined.
Yeah, it's really weird to me because supposedly the rumor is, we were looking up online, is a squirrel caused the power outage. So,
taken down by a squirrel.
Yeah, I don't know. So I had to restart everything, and even the lighting on my camera is wrong. I have a special setting on this camera so that it doesn't look like I'm washed out, but I didn't have a chance to do that before we got started because literally I got everything back up and running like 10 minutes before we started the stream. So yeah, it's been one of those days. Anyway, but Paige, are you eating? You're usually eating when we're live, or do you have something?
I was waiting for something to cook. That's why I was a bit late. I'm having, for those interested, sausage, not sausage rolls, but sausages on a roll.
Okay.
Quite yummy.
All right. Well, there we go. All right. So the hot topics, let's get through those first. The juicy topics. First and foremost, RIP Kevin Conroy, who was an amazing voice actor and had the opportunity to do a live action version of Bruce Wayne, even though it was a controversial version of the character. One of the most recognizable voice actors in the entire industry, respected by everybody that worked with him. I met him at Dragon Con one year. He was very nice to me. I don't know if anybody else has any times where they've met him or spoken to him, but he was a very nice guy. And it's really sad to see a talent go away, especially so unexpectedly. I didn't know if there was something going on with him, but it just kind of happened. And I was like, wow, that's, kind of out of left field. I have so many fond memories of the Batman animated series and just that character mixed with the Justice League stuff and the Superman crossovers and, just that entire era. Did either of you ever meet him in person or have any thoughts about this?
Yeah. When he was here for Crisis, I got to meet him. And he was exactly the same as if you paid to meet him at a convention, just all class.
Wow.
Did not like a lot of people that do the convention circuit because that's, where they make a large portion of their money. They're kind of picky about how much they might sign or different things they might sign. There was one person that was at the airport that had like 17 items with him. He did them all. Didn't care.
Wow.
That to him, that's like $800 he's giving away, and he didn't care.
Yeah.
So nothing but class.
Want to give a shout out to Naruto, Team Eric member, who did a Team Eric member chat. F's in the chat for Kevin Conroy. Thank you for doing that. And Paigey, you don't really watch a lot of animated stuff, but did you watch the Batman animated series during those cartoons?
When I was younger, I didn't really watch the Batman, but I remember I did watch like the two Justice League shows, and then I played all the Arkham games where he did the voice, except for he didn't do it for Origins, did he? Or he did do it. I can't remember if he did the voice for Origins, but
he's done so many Batman voices outside of just the animated stuff. It's hard to keep track of what he's done.
So yeah, it's like when you hear Batman, you think of him. But I guess the good thing is that like if he was battling cancer, hopefully he wasn't suffering too much. So maybe
I saw that Lance posted that it was a private cancer battle, and
apparently it was short and private one.
Yeah, a lot of people that get those diagnoses, they want to wait to say something, and then sometimes they don't have a chance to do so. So Feather Guardian says he didn't do Origin, so he was not Origin.
I didn't think he did because it wasn't even made by the same people that made the other games.
Yeah. So RIP Kevin Conroy, legend, and he's going to be missed for sure. I think a lot of people will go back now and watch those animated things and, have good memories of it. All right, let's see. We're going to move on to the next topic.
He was also gay, wasn't he?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so he was like one of the first like big people within that comic book stuff.
The only reason I say I believe so is because he didn't really talk about it that much. I think it was one of those things where he was open, but I don't remember him doing a lot of like.
At the very least, he was bi because all of the articles mentioned his husband. So he's either bi or gay.
Yeah.
Was.
So yeah. Well, so it's just unexpected, just awful news. All right, the next hot topic before we get to the set photos is something I saw on Twitter, and I know that this isn't necessarily related to anything specifically, comic books, and superheroes, but I saw that Bob Chapek is laying off a bunch of people for Disney and doing a hiring freeze. Like, I just want to point out, and a lot of people on Twitter were asking me why I get so annoyed by it. It's because these companies are so large. Like, they make the board of directors make so much money at the top end. Seeing things like Warner Brothers Discovery and Nexstar and Disney scrambling to save money for people that can't buy their fifth mansion, it just annoys me because the people that lose out on this are not the top end people. They're millionaires, and at the very least, they're millionaires. And you're talking about people that may live paycheck to paycheck. It's really weird to me, and well,
more and more people are living paycheck to paycheck nowadays as well.
Yeah.
Which is why they're doing it, because they're like, oh, people aren't spending enough money, so we're gonna fire people to make people spend more money. It doesn't make it like. I do believe that analysts and people in finances, when it comes to like the application of something really happening for the first time that they can remember, they don't know how to deal with it, which is why COVID was such a big blow to the world in terms of like the way finances worked. It's just unfortunate because I don't think firing people to save money for executives is a good look for me. Like, I just don't think it is.
It's an outright dumb look because the executives don't do like. They have to make some decisions, but they make like 0.5% of an impact on a company.
Yeah.
The people on the ground are carrying 90% of the workload. So when you're laying off part of your 90%, that means everybody else in that 90% has to work harder to keep that company at the level it's working at now.
Yeah.
If you get rid of one executive, you're saving yourself like $3 million.
Yeah. Because they're the ones making all the money.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going to go broke. They're going to find another job at some like other hedge fund company like a week later.
I also guarantee if there's a board of directors with 10 people and you get rid of 4 of them, it's not going to affect anything. It's not going to change any of the operations of the company. So, and
it's the most logical solution, but the people that make that decision are unfortunately the ones making all this money, and they're like, why would I give away my $3 million a year? I need that to go with the $75 million I already have sitting in my bank account.
Right.
Like, it's stupid.
It is. So I just want to give a shout out to all the hardworking people for these large companies that keep getting laid off because executives can't buy another yacht. It's really annoying. Naruto with a $5 super chat and a Team Eric member, of course, says if Batman is in the Suicide Squad, kill the Justice League, then we could get a postmortem Batman from Kevin Conroy. Maybe. It's possible. I like I said, they had him doing so many different versions of Batman and different things other than just the animated series that his voice could pop up all over the place. So that would be really nice to hear that. So thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right, so the next topic is the reason why I was asking Cantergraphs if he wanted to jump on, and we were talking about some set photos from this week, and I also want to get some feedback from you on what you actually saw while you were there.
Sure.
I'm going to pull this from your blog, and if you guys want to see this, head over to his Twitter if you need a link to the blog, or he can leave it in the chat if he would like, because I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure he has it there.
Yeah, just give me a second. While you're pulling it up, I'll look for it.
Yeah. So I was going to do a video on this, but then I thought it'd be really good to save it for the after party so we could just kind of gauge what the audience thinks about all this as well. So we have a shot here of the Red Death suit. Now, this is one of the more recent ones, right? This is from your...
Yeah, this is from the Wednesday night, Thursday morning set.
Okay.
The Thursday night, Friday morning set aren't up publicly yet. Just the people that have the Patreon have seen those.
Right. Okay. So, but this is available for everybody on his blog if you want to go over. We're not going to look at, he's got tons of photos. We're not going to look at all these photos. I'm going to pull up like 2 of them. But this is one of them that got a really good shot of the suit. You get to see the sigil and, so I'm curious, what does this look like in movement? Because it looks very stiff in this picture. Is it move pretty well or?
I would say it does come across maybe a little clunky because there was a scene where Javicia goes running toward. Spoilers for anyone in the chat. There was a scene where Javicia goes running towards Batwoman while she's wearing the Red Death outfit, and it didn't look like a smooth run to me. Like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's not like she didn't look robotic, but it did look a little clunky to run in, you know?
I'm just worried it's going to look a little bit like the suit that we saw from Reverse Flash at the end of last season. Where it
seemed to fit her better than that did him. Because I remember he was having a very hard time, like, getting up off the ground in that suit.
Right.
Like, mobility for him was definitely a problem, whereas she seemed to be more mobile. Maybe just the running, she had to run a little, like maybe slightly different than she usually would to make space for the suit design, you know?
Right. Paigey, what do you think of this design? This is a really good shot of the suit, and I haven't had a chance to ask you what you thought of it. Like, do you like this? Is it close enough to the comic book for you from what you've seen, or? Paigey. Did he disappear on us?
Apparently. So the other thing to notice about this suit, I don't know where in the photos it is, but if you get like a picture from the back, it looks a lot more red.
Like this one right here.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Look how red that looks compared to the front.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Is it a lighting thing, or do you think it was the way the suit was painted?
No, because I saw the person that was in the suit walking around all the time, and it looked red whether they were standing near the set or walking away from the set, and I'm very confused by it.
Yeah.
I actually think maybe something in the lighting they did makes it look darker. I don't know.
Paige, let me know if you're there, because I want to get your opinion on this. So this looks like we got some stunt work going on. Now, was Javicia actually on set for these particular scenes? Because we see.
Okay, so the photo you have up right now, she is not in either of those costumes, but she is in that take. So in this take, they've got Grant off to the side, like off to the right of this photo. Then these two are having their moment. She's about to do like some like ass kicking on Red Death. And then the Red Death that you see there leaves the scene, and Javicia comes in without the helmet on and goes running at Batwoman.
Okay.
So that's the scene.
Okay. Paige's got someone at the door, so he'll be back in a second.
No worries.
So yeah, no, Lance will not be here today. He is joining me though for a Black Panther spoiler review, either tomorrow or Tuesday. So yeah, he'll be there. But Lance was so excited about this because, you know, obviously he's a huge Batwoman fan, just like we are. And so having her back in the suit was very exciting too. Now, I thought this was going to be the case all along. I did not think we would go through this whole thing without seeing, you know, our version of Batwoman make an appearance. Because I truly believe that now that we've seen these set photos, that this is a multiversal Batwoman. And even Cody, who's a Team Eric member, left a Team Eric member chat and says, will this be the intro to the Dark Multiverse? Now, I don't know, because Dark Knights Metal was a storyline that had a lot of moving parts. And I don't know if they want to introduce the Dark Multiverse, but Canada Graphs, I feel like this is the last season. They could do anything. They could be as crazy as they want, because there's nothing stopping them from doing anything other than money, really. I mean, they could go crazy if they wanted with the storyline.
And I do get the impression that they're, as you've probably seen the second set of photos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. As you've seen from that, they're pulling everything. They're like, you know what? There's some fans that like this. We're going to bring in that. With that, we've had a request for this. We're going to bring in that. Like, I kind of feel the door's been opened enough that they're just kind of like, outside of this one or two characters, we'll let you run with anything you want. Yeah. And they're gonna fan service as much as they can.
This is a good shot that shows you the difference in the color on the front of the suit and the back of the suit.
Yes, exactly what I was saying. Yeah, and that's Javicia with her back to us.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the same space. That's basically the same area, right? So the lighting should be pretty much the same. So yeah, Paige, are you back? Nope, not yet. All right.
He's being arrested or deported.
I don't know what's going on. I'd like to get his opinion on the suit though.
I know.
My biggest opinion on this costume is that in that shot there, this one that we're looking at, the one to the right, it does look like there's more movement in the bottom half of it than we had in that Reverse Flash suit from the end of last season, which looked extremely stiff in the midsection. I also want to show, and if you guys want to see any of these photos, please head over to Canada Graph's blog and check it out. And check out his Patreon if you want even earlier access to some of these things. I want to point out, this was exciting as well when we saw this over on Twitter. Paige's back. Paige, what is your opinion on what we've seen of the Red Death suit now that we've got more photos? Do you like what you're seeing? What are you expecting from the suit?
I'm just happy it's not black. That's I think the most interesting thing was saying that like the Red Death Ryan Wilder has like a messed up like left side of her face or something. or like she's got like streaks of white hair. And
Sort of like what happened with Barry in season 3. With,
well, it looked like one of her eyes is a different color, unless there was something going on with the camera or something. But it looks like
really, I didn't notice that, but I might not have noticed
on her left eye, our right. But it looked like something was going on with her eye or something like that. But
look at Lance. That's too funny.
Yeah, I don't know. It's white gold face and I want your money is back.
Yeah, I saw that.
Spoilers, dude.
It must be. It wouldn't surprise me if the title of this episode is just called Meme. Like, it wouldn't surprise me too much if that was.
So I have an interesting thing about that. I was talking with someone on the crew that night. I don't know. I don't remember what his role is. He's told me before, but I do forget. And he was telling me one of the things this season is they're trying to put more fun back in the show.
Oh, geez.
And the next night they're filming the scene with Goldface and Max Adler's character that I'm forgetting.
Red Death,
Hotness.
but more fun. Red Death, but more fun. I don't.
Whatever. Yeah, like the fact that you see Goldface and Hotness in a scene shows they're, it is what it is. The other thing I will say, and this is my opinion on this. This is nothing the set told me except reading the room of how things went. I'm pretty sure this was the final episode for the Red Death arc.
Okay. All right.
Just because episode 6 will be a bottle episode, and you're not going to need Red Death around for that. That's going to be sorting out personal stuff. So the episode 5, I believe, will be the end.
But you're certain the next episode is a bottle episode. You know that for sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Paige, what were you going to say?
I can't remember.
All right. So my question, before we wrap up this little chat, do we expect for them to give us a quasi like goodbye to Batwoman in this? And
I think it's like Quasimodo.
No. Like a goodbye to Batwoman, because obviously they're not going to dig too much into the Batwoman show because there were some unanswered storylines over there that they're clearly not going to have enough time to like deal with on the Flash. But do you think this is kind of like them going, look, we can't save everything on the Flash because we don't have time to do that. But do you think they'll at least give a like some sort of ending with Batwoman where the fans will feel like she's still fighting crime in Gotham and we get some sort of finality to this character? Do you think they'll handle that on the Flash or no? I hope they will. I'm really, really hoping that's what they're trying to achieve here by bringing her on.
I think you'll get some quick one scene, quarter page of dialogue, probably between her and like Iris. Maybe Barry will be there for it, where they'll be talking and she'll be like, "Oh yeah, me and what's her girlfriend on the show?" Megan Tandy's character, Sophie. Like me and Sophie have like moved in together, some stuff like that.
That's what I mean.
Proposed.
Exactly.
And that'll be the most you find out. We won't get to find out what Alice is doing or Mary or any stuff like that.
And I think that's the most important thing is that people who are fans of Batwoman get to see that she's going to continue on in this world, because getting canceled with all of those cliffhangers, I don't know. What do you think, Paigey? What are your thoughts on that? On all of this?
On them wrapping up Batwoman.
Yeah, do you think they should try and give at least some dialogue to make it feel like they're,
Yeah, but I don't want a 5-minute monologue explaining. You just want just a reference here and there.
Yeah, it should be a 15-second throwaway line.
Also, we don't know if they have met yet. Like, are they meeting for the first time in the present day, Barry and Ryan?
Maybe.
Because if that's the case, why would Javicia, like Ryan, go, "Oh, by the way, Sophie, and by the way, Alice, by the way, Mary"? It's like, I don't give a shit about your life. Just met you. Like,
exactly. You're right, 100%. Now, Paigey, do you think that the reason why Javicia was away and then came back is because the Red Death storyline is going to be, it's not going to require her to be on set for some of the episodes? Because I'm guessing so roundabouts with you guys, because you're more into like the counting this out than me. How many episodes do you think this covers full of like the Red Death storyline? Like, what do you think it is? 3-4 episodes?
I'd say 4. I mean, maybe episode 1 there might be a reference to it, but I don't know if we'll see her in episode 1. But then by episode 2, I think she'll be around.
It could,
So
yeah, it could be,
yeah,
it could be,
Go ahead,
it could be 4 or 5, and it's all done. You know, didn't see it, and just Javisa didn't need to be there until the final handful of episodes.
Right. Well, that's what I'm
That was
saying.
relevant.
I'm wondering if when they find out who she is, they reach out to Batwoman, and that's why Javicia shows up as Batwoman. Or maybe something in Gotham alerts her to it, and she comes to Central City on her own. I'm wondering if it's one of those things.
I think that sounds more reasonable than them contacting her, because why would you just need Batwoman's help with it? Like,
You'd call
they
it
don't know. They don't
Superman
know who
Supergirl.
Orion Wilder. Yeah, exactly. They don't know who Orion Wilder is yet. It would make more sense that it would make more sense she discovers something and goes to
Canada
Central
Grass.
City and runs into them.
We're talking about Eric Wallace, who just wanted to
No, fair point. Fair point.
And Grant Gustin had to come in and write the explanation for said breakdancing.
Yeah. Look, either way, being someone who really enjoyed Batwoman season 3, and I thought the show was actually moving into a good space. I'm glad to see her coming back. This is a really great picture. She looks like she's very excited to be there and, you know, portray this.
This photo doesn't scream excitement, but
I don't know. She looks like she's happy. She's giving me happiness in her eyes. Like I can see it in her eyes.
Okay.
She's smiling.
She's just happy. She's just happy there that she didn't have to wear the big clunky red death suit.
You don't remember the Top Model franchise when Tyra Banks says people smize with their eyes? You never watched that?
Do you really think I sat down and watched America's Top Model, Eric?
There's there's Australia's Next Top Model too. It's a franchise over in Australia as well.
Yeah, well, I think Australia's Top Model, it was all over the news, had the biggest drama. They read the wrong winner out or something like that.
Yes, they did. That was funny. But I will say she looks like she's smizing in this photo, so I'm going to give her that. It's a. Is that your phone?
Yeah, that was
R2D2.
But anyway, so Canada Graphs, I know you can't stay for much longer. You said you wanted to head out, and we're going to be talking about the shows here in a second. But as far as filming goes, what do you think? Are you going to be out trying to get stuff from this bottle episode, or is that?
Well, it's going to be all in studio. So.
Oh, is it?
Okay.
All right. Well, there we go.
Quiet. But yeah, I basically know that I don't have to go looking for them for like 2 weeks now because of that, which is fine because it's cold out.
Right.
That whole set, the high during those 2 nights was like 2 Celsius. So I'm okay with them being indoors for the next 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. Lance here with a call out for Paigey. Paigey has disrespected Javicia for Yavika for the last time. If you guys were not at Twitch, you would not get that joke. But Paigey has disrespected Javicia for the last time. I'm on a plane to Australia right now. There we go.
Watch out, Paigey.
Paigey, better start moving right now. No, the Yavika joke. I still laugh at that. If anybody that wasn't at Twitch, there was a content creator that was doing your typical like I hate Batwoman type content and kept calling Javicia Yavika multiple times. So
man, I should like make a TikTok and like just find out whatever he likes and troll the like actor of that.
So
I can be as ignorant as anybody.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is I have to pull this up separately because it's on a separate tab, and actually don't even know if I'm gonna do that or not. Let's see. No,
you forgot it was Desperate and Broke Yavika. Remember?
That's right. Yeah.
Or whatever the title was.
It was it was Desperate Woke Batwoman. That's what they said in that video. So all right, so we're gonna talk CW now. This is the news that came out this week. It's also
speaking of Desperate and Woke.
Yeah. I was gonna do a video on this, but again, I just thought, let's talk about it at the after party. What
your beard is very blue today, Eric.
Is it? It's very Smurf-like, I think. So
looks like
that was the first thing I thought when I saw it too. I thought you're like turning into a Smurf.
What's that drink? Calypso. It looks like you just splashed yourself with Calypso.
So if there was ever a nail in the coffin of what the CW was versus what it's going to be, this is kind of that nail for me. I've been somewhat optimistic with this, trying to look on the bright side. I don't really see a bright side to this story. We're going to read through this, and we're not going to take too much time, but I just want to let everybody know this is not good. It says the CW to shed WBD Paramount content in 23-24 season. Former owners not precluded from selling us programming if it's a deal we like. That's not a good addition to that statement there. Says here, Nexstar CEO Perry Sook and the execs of the nation's biggest broadcaster said its imprimatur will be evident on CW's schedule for 23-24 season with lower cost, broader appeal, and more unscripted fare and minimal content from former owners, co-owners, Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount Global. There may be some contractual holdovers, which before we move on in this, do we know what those holdovers are? Because I have no idea which ones are the holdovers.
I had a couple of people ask me this, and I honestly don't know. I would assume newer shows, like anything in the
Walker Independence, like those
Winchester's, Walker, but probably both Walkers, and probably even Superman and Lois would be in that bubble.
Okay.
Anything older than 3 years, I think, is a huge question.
So, like
mark.
All American, those kinds of shows are pretty much
shows that have probably already hit a syndication deal. Huge question mark about those.
Okay. And going forward, Warner and Paramount are not precluded from selling us programming. It's just going to have to be a financial deal that we like, aka they're not going to spend more than $1 million on IP deals. We've already established that. There may be a couple of shows that distinguish themselves this year. We want to hold over till next year, which is really weird for them to say that, considering they didn't do a pickup on backup or back order episodes on either of their best performing shows. And Stargirl is still performing really well now, even after the announcement of its cancellation. So a little weird. Let's see where it says Sook told investors in a call following third quarter earnings. Nexstar, the biggest owner of the CW affiliates, closed its purchase of the network on September 30th, the last day of the quarter. All right, so before we move down, because I've only got a couple things highlighted in this article. If you want to read the whole article, it's over on Deadline. So are we confident that they're actually going to take into account, and we're going to single this out because it is the only show that really matters at this point, Superman and Lois's numbers, how they perform? Are we confident they're going to look at that, or is it pretty much like they're not going to care about that? This is all financial, it's like finance speak to make them feel better about investing. That's what I feel like. I don't know if they actually mean what they're saying. Do we believe them? Do we not believe them? Thoughts on this, either one of you guys?
I mean, I never believe any CEO type person when they're speaking, because their whole job is basically to lie to people. Their job, like even with investors, even with the people that have their money involved, when you invest in a company, you expect to be lied to, and that's like what their job is. Their job is to try and make you think they've got the next thing coming. Right. And they don't care if they fail on it. They just care that they get you now. So I don't trust anything that they ever say.
Yeah, Paigey, your thoughts
about what?
Do you believe that they're actually going to take any of this into account, or do you think it's just them trying to woo the investors?
Well, this was an investor call, wasn't it? So
well, yeah, but I mean, do you think he's basically? Do you think the CEO is being genuine about this? Is what I'm asking. I don't think so. Let me put my preface out there. I don't think so. I think it's all investor talk. I think they've already made their minds up about pretty much everything, unless there's a contract involved.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's probably talking out of his ass to go woo to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. My curiosity around the whole thing is whether this method works.
Okay.
Because I've told you, I still have my questions about how the monetization of all this acquired content, and it's very important to remember, like, something might get X amount of views on the CW, but there's probably people just turn, like, there'll be people that just turn on the CW to watch whatever's on there on certain nights, especially obviously during the weeks, the weeknights.
Yeah.
But what happens when all that content goes away, or at least the high majority of it, like 80% of it?
Right.
Like, then what's the average view for a program at prime time? Like, I'd say their average at the moment is probably like about 500,000 to 600K.
Yeah.
So what does it drop to after that? Are they dropping to below 4, below 3, below 2?
Well,
I mean,
that was one of the.
what does World's Funniest Animals get? Because that's probably a good indicator of.
Let's see. World's Funniest Animals. What is it? TV by the numbers. At the website.
I think whatever the shows do.
TV series finale. That's it. Let's see what their ratings are.
You got like a Chris Angel show on there at the moment, but World's Funniest Animals seems like right up there.
The latest episode, which was I don't think the newer episodes are airing. The latest episode that was new was is October 9th, and that was at 500,000 at 5.585. So, and they've been lower than that. They've dipped all the way down to 0.78, 3.378. So,
is that +7 though, or is that the actual live when people were watching numbers?
I'm assuming since that's such an old. I mean, this was back in October. They would include that, right? The +7.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
So the demo. Oh gosh. So the demo change. Oh wait, no. The demo change was 40%. How is that even possible?
I'm looking at their Wikipedia page for numbers. They had a Valentine's Day special for this thing.
Yeah.
Why?
But yeah, it looks like they teeter between like 0.378 and 0.585 million.
Yeah, but it follows a show as well. It follows something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it follows. I know it follows something because I remember I was watching it and then it had World's Funniest Animals come on. So like
at the end of the day, though, their production value price and the price for buying the content is so low
because it's viewer submitted content.
Yes,
so...
yeah. They're not putting any value into it. So if they lose half of the viewers that a Superman and Lois is going to get them, they realistically probably are coming out ahead on that deal.
No, but we're not talking about specifically World's Funniest Animals. We're just talking about the rest going forward.
Yeah.
No, and I'm just saying as a compare, like whatever. Let's say I have no idea what else they have. Family Law. Let's say the reruns of Family Law that they're buying from Canada. I don't know what their numbers are on the CW. But again, it's probably cheaper because all they're paying for is the licensing fee on Family Law. They're not paying for the production value.
Yeah.
I do wonder if Netflix would buy All American the rights to it.
Maybe.
I saw some people asking about that, and I don't think it's an unreasonable theory because if Netflix sees value in it, then I mean, why wouldn't they, right?
Yeah. So it goes on here, separately asked on the call about the possibility of NBC turning over its third primetime hours to local affiliates. This is really weird. Sook sounded thrilled. It would be good. We would make more money. Keep in mind, they're not better programming. We would make more money with an hour of news at 10 than with an hour of network programming. Yeah. He had said Nexstar already has a number of Fox and CW affiliates that broadcast news in the last hour of prime time. My area is one of them. We've always had news at 10 in my area. And it's extremely profitable. The reason why is because it costs them nothing. It literally costs them nothing. Also,
they just have to get 2 newscasters and a studio.
Yep. Also, if NBC movies from 89 movies, NBC moves from 89 hours. It has to be moves. That's got to be a misspelling. Movies from 89 hours a week to 81 or 82 hours of network time, then we would pay them less. Another advantage. Again, I want to say if this were just a general interview, I'd be like, what the F? But this is an investment.
But this is to investors, yes.
Right. So it makes sense that he's saying all of this to them because he wants them to spend more money. But this bodes very poorly for like creative programming. And that was all I really put in there. But basically, what we're seeing here is that if they want to be profitable by 2025, that means 23 and especially 24 are going to be very bleak for any new original programming on the CW. Because they cannot turn a profit and still spend money on programming. And they fired their in-house casting department. they're literally saying we will do whatever it takes to make money, and if that means cutting everything away, we will. Also, where's I had it here. Where's it at? So their new CEO, or the new, I guess the president of the president, what's his name? Ben Schwartz, I believe. Brad Schwartz. Brad. So he came from Pop TV, and they keep like talking about how
his one hit that he bought.
Yeah. So let me ask people in the chat. Very curious, because I already know the answer to this.
Yeah.
Pop TV. What other amazing shows do we know that came from Pop TV? Without looking it up off the top of your head.
Twerk Off 2019 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Nothing came from Pop TV, and Schitt's Creek was a breakout hit. And they expect him to like.
Let's not forget, Schitt's Creek isn't their property.
It's not.
That's the same as the CW is going to be going forward. They just bought it from CBC.
Right. He's the board
or CTV.
He's the board of like executives, because he doesn't care about creating content. He cares about acquiring content, which is exactly the same way David Zaslav kind of operates with acquiring companies and acquiring brands. Now, the weird thing is Pop TV undergoes layoffs following a move from Viacom, CBS Entertainment, and Youth Brands Group. Now, Pop TV was sold to Viacom, and then everyone in that building was fired, pretty much. Brad Schwartz, who was the head at that point, put out a letter basically making everyone feel good about this merger and saying that everyone was going to be safe, et cetera, et cetera. And then everyone was pretty much fired, including him. So I thought that was quite interesting. Now, the reason why Brad Schwartz is a weird choice for this, and I'm going to do, this is a trigger warning for anyone in terms of SA. I'm not going to say it on YouTube because YouTube will block it. But this is a trigger warning for SA. Brad Schwartz, who left from Pop TV, went to work for Audible. If you're not familiar with Audible, it is a program that allows you to listen to books instead of read them. And this was earlier.
Do they have celebrities over there do the ads for them? They have Rebel Wilson down here.
Sometimes.
But they had the Hoff. I think they had the Hoff as well.
Yeah.
Or was that Uber Eats?
So he went to work over at Audible. He was there for a month, and then they let him go. And I don't know if it was like a thing where they just decided to like split, or, you know, if he was actually told he had to leave and that was an ultimate. Either way, they parted ways after a month. And it was a little bit weird until it came out why Brad Schwartz was no longer working at Audible, who is now working at the CW. Again, trigger warning here. So apparently Brad Schwartz and some other people at Pop were brought up on charges of SA and SH because of comments.
What's H? Oh, right.
Harassment.
Okay, yeah.
One's assault, one's harassment. And I don't want to go into details because, again, some of it's allegations, some of it were things that actually went to court, and I believe there's still some of it is still going on. But the thing is that I'm going to read here. Where's it at? The lawsuit, which was in 2018 filed by Vice President of Sales at Pop against Pop Media, Lionsgate, and CBS. Male supervisors and colleagues engaged in inappropriate and demeaning comments regarding females and employees, specifically over 40. Schwartz is described in the suit as having made inappropriate comments about a female keynote speaker at a national women's empowerment conference and being aware of the other executives' inappropriate behavior and not acting on it as president. The Pop sales exec later asked for the suit to be dismissed, but it was not. So look, I'm not saying that he did it because a lot of the details are still not available to the public. But the fact that Audible let him go, or he left from Audible, and then the CW picks him up, a network that is trying to appeal to an older demographic. A lot of these allegations were made by women over 40. Really? He got hired while charges are being held against him, while he's still being... What the...
Well, so he got hired from
I saw
CW
someone...
while those claims are still being investigated.
Yes. These are all still things.
I saw someone a little while ago talking about this very topic, and they're like, unless there's like video evidence of someone committing, one of these types of acts, their inability to be permanently fired from the industry is almost zero.
Oh, well, I don't think...
But it's not even that. It's the fact that he was hired.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Been. Yes. Yeah. That's
but I mean, like, you can turn around and get a job 6 weeks later somewhere else.
But still, for a high-ranking position, usually there's these things called references, which they should look at and go... I mean, if you're...
the CW doesn't care about references. They care about looking at his profit margin in Pop TV, and I don't know how his profit margin was in Audible, but if it was profitable, it doesn't matter if he did more things.
Yeah, but if I was the CW, I'd be like, we've already got some bad press. Why don't we hire someone else and use Brad Schwartz as use Brad Schwartz as like a shadow reference?
Do they seem scared of bad press to you?
Yeah, but there's also ways to think it. Like, you wouldn't hire him, or you shouldn't be hiring him if that's what's going on. But you can still reach out to him privately and go, hey, we'll give you this amount of money per X amount of period or whatever it is for you to help us, but we can't give you this position because of the ongoing issues there.
Yeah, I mean, they could have offered him something under the table, I guess. I don't know. Whatever.
Under the table.
I mean,
it's just that he's a private, what do you call it? Reference.
Under the table.
Helper. Under the table insinuates it's like not on the books and it's illegal.
Well, the other thing is that he acquired Schitt's Creek, a show that they didn't even produce or anything.
Yeah.
It's also important to remember Schitt's Creek wasn't very popular at the time. It
wasn't. It didn't get popular until it became a streaming. Yeah. When
it
was on streaming for Netflix. Yeah. Yes. So
I hate to break it to you, but it was on Netflix from the beginning.
No, but I mean,
it was a Canada show first. Don't forget, it was on It was in Canada first. We knew about this show.
The times it was popular was those 2 or 3 years when it was winning awards, which is its 3 final seasons.
I think
but it only started winning the awards because it moved to Pop TV, because Canadian shows don't get put up for the Emmys.
I want to point something out that we're missing here with Schitt's Creek. A lot of people found Schitt's Creek during COVID. That is when it became popular because people were at home looking for content. Schitt's Creek height was in 2020. That was during COVID. So him finding a show that, because Schitt's Creek is good. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great show. But I think he stumbled into a success story with Schitt's Creek. That's what I think happened.
He had one great hit and nobody knows a second thing he's done.
Right. And he was part of a company where he was fired because the company was underperforming.
To put it in musical terms for you, he's Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
He has one hit.
So my thing is that it seems like the CW, let me round this back to where we are here. So basically,
you could have used a much better reference for the after party though. I'm actually extremely disappointed you chose Chumbawamba of all things for the
I'm trying to think of a one-hit wonder really quick instead of waiting 3 minutes for my...
I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Song? Like, hello?
I think Cisco had more than one hit.
No, he was on the Wild Wild West song with Will Smith, and that was about it.
Yeah. But what I'm getting at here is that it seems to me with this executive, regardless of what he did and his track record and what's going on within the studio, unless there's some contractual reason for shows to stick around after next season, they're done.
Yeah.
And I mean like shows like Superman and Lois are far too expensive for the CW to negotiate with Warner Brothers Discovery. Because you got to remember, Warner Brothers Discovery also needs to make money.
Yeah. The thing is that I'm very interested to see where the CW is at in like 12 to 24 months, because they're not acquiring bad content. Like the Australian show they picked up is one of the better Australian shows being made at the moment. Like season 3 is coming out here, I think on like Christmas Day or something, around Christmas or something. And it's actually filmed like where I live. Like it filmed outside my nan's house like a couple months ago. So it's a popular show here on the streaming service here. I don't know how it's performing over there and all the other content, because like that South African show, like they're really like hammering the Tom Welling and Brendan Fraser things in the trailers. Like if you watch a promo that they release, it's all just Tom Welling and Brendan Fraser. So I'm curious to see like what shows they acquire and pick up. Imagine they pick up Snowtown, Eric. Would you be a CW shill?
No, they would never do that. It's not going to happen.
Like that's the thing about it is, yeah, they will probably continue surviving. I mean, everyone's talking about it being the death of CW. All it is it's the death of the CW we know now.
Right.
It's the death of Dare to Defy. That's what it's the death.
Yes.
Of.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like if I were Todd Helbing, the writing's on the wall, Todd, write this season as if you might get a pickup.
Well, no, if I'm Greg Berlanti, I'm sitting there going, I've got all this content that's still there attached to the CW. What's happening to it? Because he could lose half a dozen properties. Yeah. Just like that, gone. And then obviously there's still the question mark on whether Titans and Doom Patrol are going forward. So Greg Berlanti could potentially lose a lot of his slate in TV. And he was already put up as like this guy who's got the most concurrent running shows or something on, was it network or just on like as TV as a platform as a whole?
Yeah.
And he could lose half of it within like a 6 to 12 month period. Already lost
Batwoman. But the thing with someone like him though is he's going to have 7 more projects for next pilot season, and 2 or 3 of them will get picked up. Not necessarily on the CW, but anywhere else. Because he does shows for other networks too. It's just the majority of his stuff that is known is here.
Yeah, no, because he'd usually get 2 or something picked up each season.
Yeah,
if not more.
So yeah, he's gonna lose. He's gonna lose. He'll lose a couple shows, but he's gonna pick up 1 or 2 somewhere else.
I don't know about that. That's why he'd be concerned about trying to keep as many of the ones that are still on, but obviously probably elsewhere.
All right.
Pop TV is a failed network that they're trying to turn CW into that'll just fail, just like
I literally have never heard of it before. Like this Schitt's Creek stuff, like with this whole thing with Brad Schwartz. I'd never heard of it before.
Well, that's the thing is, why would you hire someone from a failed experiment to come over and?
What was it meant to be? Was it meant to be like stuff that was in the pop culture?
Yes.
Or like for like it was it meant to be like a CW type network or something?
Yes, but it was also a network that acquired shows. I don't think they had a lot of their own content, as far as I know. So yeah, I don't know. I would say now that the writing's kind of on the wall for the CW. I wouldn't expect them to pick up anything else that we love. This brings me to my final hot topic before we get to reviewing the shows. This is a very quick one, and that is Gotham Knights. Other than Natalie Abrams, who is talking about it randomly, the show, there was some casting things. I think there was a super chat. Let me see if I can find it here, because I knew we were getting to this and I was saving the super chat for here. I hope that they're still in the stream. Well, actually, Anthony has his $2 super chat here. Can Netflix pick up Superman and Lois? I believe once the contract is up with the CW, Greg Berlanti can shop at places, right? Like if he wants to. Or...
wouldn't it? It's still got a contract with HBO Max, though. And I know we know HBO Max is going away. It's going to be something else, but I don't know how that contract carries over.
Right. Let's see, this was way up here. Let's see, Gotham Knights.
Pop TV ran reruns of 90210 apparently.
Yeah, it was a
I love that word.
Naruto here. I hope you're still here, Naruto, with the $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. Did you see a recent casting announcement for Gotham Knights has massively spoiled the show? Yes, and I'm not going to talk about it here. I did talk about it on Twitter.
What casting was it?
It was 2 characters from that are going to be parents of one of the kids.
I read that, but what did it spoil?
The storyline
cares. I don't think anyone cares.
Oh well, it's a story. It's a storyline from the comics about Batman or Bruce Wayne's past and his connection with one of the parents of the kids. And the story is I think it's a more recent retcon of the Batman mythos. If that's what Naruto is talking about.
So it spoils who killed Batman.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I was getting at without
Batman in the suit who was randomly wearing his mask.
Yes.
in like not a suit, but like a tuxedo.
A lot of
suit.
people believe that this will spoil. Yes, a lot of people believe that this is basically the writing was on the wall for who this is. Now they could go a different direction. They absolutely could. But my issue with Gotham Knights in general is I think it's a 1-season show. I think some of the way they're setting up the series, some of the storylines sounds very boring to me. I'm going to give it a shot, just like I did with everything, Naomi, all these other shows. But I looked at their Twitter. You know that Gotham Knights Twitter has not tweeted anything since May?
But what would it tweet out?
It tweeted out like the trailer.
What would it tweet out?
No,
now?
he's saying what would they tweet out now?
Just the fact that the show is still happening with the game
like
out,
what the
it seems
like
like it's
I
very
think,
conflicting.
Yeah, but also like there's no point. Like I mean, the Flash account hasn't tweeted anything out except for like happy birthdays.
I don't know, retweeting the articles with the casting announcements.
The only thing, the only thing that's weird from them, are they retweeting the other series?
No,
like
they're not. They're not liking anything. They're doing nothing. It's been dead since May.
Yeah. That's the weird thing, because usually you see like Flash, Superman, Lois, and all them retweet when Stargirl's airing and stuff like that.
But this raises the question: does the CW pay for people to run those Twitter accounts, or is it the actual production company?
Well,
so that means they might not pay anybody to run Gotham Knights Twitter account.
Yeah, they might not pay someone. They usually more of an intern job,
right?
So someone that like wants to put that on their resume, they're like, "All right, you're our social media guy for the next 6 months."
But that means that they haven't paid anybody since May to run it. Yeah, either side, or the production company.
Oh no, it's all the same people. Because I remember when was it Supergirl or was it Batwoman? They uploaded the Flash trailer 1 year.
I don't remember.
Like they like it was obviously a scheduled thing, and they went into the wrong account to upload the video.
Really?
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah.
My thing is though that I don't see a show that supposedly comes out, I'm assuming no later than spring of next year, without a lot of buzz happen. The game is out. Like, wouldn't you piggyback off of that with the show?
Yeah, but I think it also might be because the game reception was a bit arse.
But that's not going to change when they promote the show. I mean, it's not going to.
Yeah, but also,
people are going to go.
Look, I'm not defending Gotham Knights, but as a TV show, there's no point promoting now. There's no point promoting.
Well, I don't even mean promoting.
If they haven't released a trailer
activity from the account, like some sort of
I'll be back in a second
for the fans. Yeah,
yeah. I don't know. I disagree with that. I think it's like, what is like activity for what? The only thing is if like that card, I can understand like retweeting the articles, but they're not even retweeting the show. So they thought, well, there's no point doing this active stuff now until we're actually.
So by that
building
regard,
up the
then
show.
what is the point of Natalie Abrams promoting it?
Well, because she's showrunner. Is she promoting or just talking about it?
She's posting up like on set this day, and you know this.
Yeah,
person
but I think that's
or whatever.
I think
the account should be doing that as well.
No, I disagree with that because it's not really meant for that purpose. She can do it because that's her life. That's what she's going through. She's chronicling.
I get it, but this is a very risky show that they want to do well.
To be fair,
I would be working extra hard to promote it.
Yeah, but the thing, it's still potentially up to 3 months away. It's not a movie. If it was a movie, then I can understand because you got to build that buzz for people to, think, okay, I'm going to go see this in theaters. I'm going to spend money to go watch it. CW, it's a free thing. You go, okay, switch it on, turn it on, it's on. You can. People aren't playing that 2 or 3 months in advance. If they're not promoting it,
social media people suck. Yeah.
If they're not promoting it within like 6 weeks of the show coming out, then you're right, Eric. You can take a W then. But at this point, there's no point. The Flash hasn't promoted anything for the upcoming season.
But the Flash doesn't have to. The Flash is a show that's been around for a while. Like Gotham Knights is brand new.
Exactly.
So you'd want to get the promoting out early as possible.
But I think everyone with half a brain knows it's
why
DOA.
Put a trailer out well before the show and then go social media silent for 8 months?
Because it was the upfronts, wasn't it?
But that doesn't. But what I'm saying is, you're saying they don't need to advertise it early, but they did.
Yeah, So I think here's the thing. At the upfronts, that was an actual press event that there was lots of coverage at. It made sense to make a tweet at that time, but since then, what are they going to promote?
The same stuff that everyone involved with the show is doing. They're promoting the articles. They're talking about people being cast. Or showing
articles. There's casting. I don't know if a casting call I mean, you wouldn't
And it's too
necessarily always
random.
see.
It's two
You wouldn't
parents of a
necessarily.
character. It's
You
only
wouldn't
they cast,
necessarily.
if they cast Harley Quinn or something, then fair enough. If they
You
went,
wouldn't
we got Harley
necessarily
Quinn,
see the Flash or Superman and Lois or anything like that mention every casting announcement.
But they don't
They would
have
mention
to.
they would
don't
mention
have
the most
to.
prominent ones.
They don't have to. This is a brand new show that already is sketchy. They know that going into this. I would be
I guess they feel that way. They're
Why
kind of
would
like,
you-
this
why
isn't
would
worth
they-
our effort.
it doesn't make sense in the era of social media to put up an account, put up a trailer back in May and get people excited for something, and then completely go silent for like 5 months.
well, they
That
probably
doesn't
saw the
make any
reception
sense.
to said trailer.
But it doesn't
Everyone
matter.
went, this looked fucking awful.
The trailer's not going to make them cancel the show, which means that they still have to promote it.
I don't know. Maybe it will.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right.
I'm not disagreeing with
Yes,
you on the fact
cancelled.
that they could wait to promote it till closer when the show comes out in general, but they've already started promoting it. So they started
But that's
promoting
because
it, and then they went silent.
the event
the
that they were
upfronts,
promoting
yeah.
it at was in May. They didn't decide the upfronts were
Here's
in
the thing,
May.
Eric. If the upfronts weren't on, the account would have probably not posted anything at this point.
But that's
Yeah.
the point. Okay, so I feel like I'm in crazy world right now. You start
You are.
promoting something. You start promoting something.
You are
to
in
get
America.
to get buzz going, and then you go silent for 5 months. Tell me what fucking sense that makes. That makes no sense at all, even if it was upfronts. Why would you promote something to get buzz going and then drop it and say nothing for 5 months?
I think,
I will.
but that's been the CW shtick for like the past 3 years. They haven't promoted it at all. They don't promote shit at all, regardless of whether
They
it's
don't
new or
promote
whether it's
things that are
5
in their
seasons
final
deep.
seasons.
No,
for things that are getting canceled.
no, mate. Tell me how many trailers Naomi got.
But we said that was weird back then too.
Exactly. So why are we acting different with Gotham Knights?
Because
We've got to,
Gotham Knights is
absorb
under
to
new
the normality of it.
ownership. They're under new. This is a new company that owns.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
CW.
Who
They
fired
want
their
things to be
promotional?
profitable.
Who fired their advertising team 2 weeks ago?
They're being run by a gerbil, okay?
I
Like
get it.
they've got one broken down gerbil running the whole thing.
Back to what the whole point of me saying this
Look,
was.
Eric,
I don't think the show is going to go beyond one season.
Eric, you know the episode of The Simpsons where Bart.
I should have been reading the chat the whole time.
He wins at a abandoned warehouse for like $1. He goes $1, and he wins it. And him and Milhouse go work there. That's currently the CW advertising department. There's a broken down coffee machine where there's rats living inside of it.
But that's what I'm getting
that's
to.
it.
So like you guys are arguing against me, but then you're proving my point by saying that. I feel like
Exactly.
the
No,
CW
no,
is
because
on
you're
fire, and it makes no sense that they're not promoting something. But you're defending
It makes all of the sense because they're not thinking of anything these
Let me
days.
finish
Eric.
what I'm saying. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay, finish then. You're taking 20 years.
I'm saying that I find it very weird that they're not promoting it because I think it's a new show under this new ownership. But the reason why I'm saying that is facetiously because I know that they're not doing the job they should, and you're agreeing with that. But then if you're agreeing with that, then you are also agreeing that it's weird they're not promoting it because they don't have enough people. That's odd.
You're agreeing with me.
But no, you're disagreeing with my point. I never said that I didn't believe they were understaffed.
Here's the thing.
I literally said they didn't hire anybody to run the Twitter. I said that at the beginning of this.
Yeah, exactly, because they fired everyone. And it's been their normality over the past 2 or 3 years. They don't promote shit.
Right.
The Flash, like if you want to think back to it, the last show that actually got some decent advertising and got a good amount of trailers coming in was Superman and Lois.
Right.
But even then, people questioned the lack of promotion for that show up until the final, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks. Because remember they released all those like really like small, like 20-second trailers?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really random. It was like, why they just release like a proper trailer? People were frustrated.
Right. And I'm not
like that was the last show.
My issue is I've got 2 problems with this. Number one is I agree that they are doing a bad job promoting, which is why I agree that they've got like you said, a warehouse with like 1 person in it. That's why I said I don't think they're paying anybody to run that Twitter account, which leads me back to my point, which is that I don't think Gotham Knights is going to get more than 1 season because they don't seem to give a shit about it. I think Gotham Knights is going to be 13 episodes and done because the only people talking about it are the people in production of the show.
You know what it's like? You know, you just don't really feel like cleaning the dishes for like a couple of days and it builds up. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, fuck, I need a pan to cook these noodles. And then just clean up.
I feel
everything.
like you've used this example before, but go ahead.
That is CW currently with the Gotham Knights promotion. They're just leaving there. It's like, oh, eventually get around to it. Oh shit, it's January. The show premieres end of January. Better clear the dishes, aka release the promotional material.
And before we move on to the reviews, go ahead, Canada.
It'd be the most CW thing that they're like, okay, it's going to be premiering on like February 12th, and February 12th at like 5:59 p.m. they put out a tweet. Don't forget to watch Gotham Knights tonight.
This is great. Interns don't get paid. That's hilarious and so true. That's probably what they. You want to be an intern? You get to run our Twitter account and listen to social media bitch at you with hashtag Legends of Tomorrow.
That's how these jobs go. They rarely pay someone to do this stuff. They're like, hey, this is your chance to get in the film industry.
Okay, so
actually.
Yeah.
What are the odds, do you think, that the Gotham Knights gets a billboard?
Only if they put it up themselves.
That's always the thing with the CW shows. Which CW because I only ever give them a couple of them a billboard.
I believe Winchesters
which
and
shows
Walkers
get one.
would get a billboard before Gotham Knights.
No, I'm not talking on the side of the Warner Brothers in LA. I'm just talking about in like, let's just say it's LA, but you're driving down Sunset Boulevard or whatever it is, and there's billboards there. Do you think they get one?
No.
Do you think Gotham Knights gets a billboard?
No.
Or do you think they'll give it to like?
I bet $1.
You think they'll give it
I
to
will bet
someone
you
else?
$1.
Only way they're getting a billboard is if Natalie goes and prints it off herself at a Kinko's and tapes it up over someone else's billboard in Atlanta.
Okay, there we go. Last thing, quick about Gotham Knights. Is it true? I don't remember if I couldn't find an article on it before we got started because I didn't have a chance to look. But are they redoing the pilot? Is that true? They're redoing the pilot, or is that
that was talk about it? But I don't think that. I don't know. I think if that actually happened, it would have been confirmed by now.
All right.
And I doubt they want to put out more money on this than they already have.
I think that theory came from they did like a new logo or whatever it was, but I was like, oh no, but Arrow did a new logo and Arrow didn't refilm its pilot. It was Natalie Abrams tweeted out something, but I think she just might have worded it weird. She said like day one or something. She said like day one.
Oh, that was what it was.
Okay.
Okay, makes sense. All right, so that's pretty much it with the hot topics. We're going to move into our reviews of Titans, and I believe this is where Canada Graph said he wants to jump off because he's going to go.
Alrighty, yeah, I am out of here. Thanks, guys. I will be around whenever the next breaking scoop is. Hopefully, I get some shots of like baby Jenna or Cecile's stripper daughter or something. I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
You know, something that the fans are waiting for.
Yeah.
But that's it
guys,
for now.
Head over to Canada Graph's Twitter and check out his blog. Thank you, Canada Graphs, and we'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
All right, let's move on to reviews. There we go. A little graphic at the top there. Now we're done with hot topics.
What do you
this?
Think of that, it's pretty funny.
Can anybody hear Paigey?
I can hear myself. Can you?
Hold on, me.
My bubble is moving.
There you go. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
So it was you?
That was weird. No, it just came back out of nowhere. I don't know what happened.
Okay, I don't know. My bubble was moving. So
what do you think of the little design up there at the corner?
It's interesting. It's artistic. Why are they thought bubbles though? Maybe they should be like
because we're thinking. Because we're thinking about stuff. That's why.
You know what, Eric? You've cracked it. You've cracked the case.
Right. Yeah. What do we want to talk about first? Titans or Stargirl? Should we do Titans? Again, guys, these are going to be spoilers for both shows, and we're not going to talk about every single detail. I have notes from the episodes, and that's all we're going to talk about. So, should we do a coin flip?
Oh, you love the old coin flip.
I do. I think it's cool. Yeah, I do.
I guess it helps decide. Okay, what's heads? What's tails?
Heads will be Titans.
Okay, I'm flipping. Oh, that was a shit flip. It was heads both times, so whatever heads was.
Titans then. All right. I guess we're doing Titans first. All right, this week's episode of Titans, Season 4, Episode 3, Jinx. And this week's episode follows up on Raven, who seemingly has lost her powers. Question, do you think this is a setup for the White Raven storyline? It is a bit different from that original one, but it could be heading that direction. Do you think that's what we're doing?
Yeah, it seems like it's building up to that. Well, it makes me wonder if it's like, I know there's a lot of people thinking that Trigon's going to come back into it and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Not with those same effects, please.
I was going to say, yeah, if we're basing it off that season,
hold on,
premiere.
I'm going to find a picture of that while we're talking.
That was awful.
Let me see. It's memeable, right? I mean, there's a lot of really bad ones. Is it as bad as I remember? I think it is. Hold on, let me pull up this picture.
Well, if it was bad at the time, surely it's bad now.
Hold on. Yeah, I have the picture here. Let me blow this up. Oh gosh, it just. Oof. All right, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. There we go. Is that the stuff of nightmares or what? Look at that.
It doesn't look rendered.
Yeah. Look at the background and then look at the actual character. Like,
and his size kept changing. Like, but in different shots, he'd be like here he looks normal sized, like a human, and then like they'd go up against like Raven looking at him, and he looks like he's 10 foot tall.
Not only that, but the chest is weird, right? Like it looks like the chest is like tiny, and then the rib cage is huge. It doesn't. Yeah, something about it looks weird. So yeah, if you want to bring Trigon back, please not that version. We can do without that version of Trigon. But the White Raven storyline is interesting, and if you guys aren't familiar with it, I think they covered it in one of the, I can't remember which cartoon it was, but one of the cartoons covered it. I don't think it was Go. I think it was just regular Teen Titans. But I feel like they're going in that direction. We have Gar and Raven have a storyline this week where they're kind of off on their own. Gar gets to seeing and hearing things. He mentioned skinwalkers, and I thought that was weird because I don't know if that ties to the comics or not. Do you know a lot about his? I don't think his backstory in the comics ties to like the skin, because that's a Navajo like witch story, like the storyline. Navajo witch, like mythology.
Well, are they trying to connect like his powers and stuff to like the Native American stuff, which might connect to some like mystical stuff, which then connects some way to the Church of Blood and their like magical.
That's what stuff. I'm thinking, because I don't think there's any other reason.
It's not like the mystical plane sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
we have that going on, and the by the way, skinwalkers are witches who can change into animals, possess people, disguise themselves in general. And there is a DC character with that name. I looked it up, but I don't think that's what they're referencing here. Skinwalkers are creepy. Like if you want to go watch documentaries on YouTube about quote unquote skinwalkers, go ahead. But we have him like seeing the sky is red, and he's got voices speaking to him, and yeah, I think this has got to be a connection to the Church of Blood, right? Like that's.
Well, you know what's interesting? Did they have the blood moon in America as well the past week?
Yes, I believe so.
Isn't that coincidental that they're doing all this blood moon stuff, and there was a blood moon in real life?
Oh, maybe.
It's pretty cool. Shame for people that didn't get to see it. I've never seen one before.
Yeah. So Ragu said it's like the Animal Kingdom storyline for Beast Boy. I'm not familiar with that one, but I will go look that up now. Yeah. The other stuff here, we get to meet Jinx this week. I liked her. I think this version is interesting. It's very different from the more recent animated version, and it's more like the one from the comics. So she's kind of her own thing, right? What did you think of Jinx as a character in your first meeting of her? Did you like her? Did you not like her?
Yeah, she was interesting. I didn't think she was going to be like, I guess like somewhat buddy with Dick.
Buddy. You mean the fact that he slept with every woman that he's ever come in contact with?
Yeah. Well, in my notes I wrote former foe and had to cross that and go former fling.
Well, isn't it weird that every adult female that comes in contact with him has had a relationship with him in some way? It's really like.
I think that's the only thing that maybe they haven't played off with Dick too much, is that like they say that all this stuff happened, but he doesn't act like someone that would have done that in the past at all.
Right. Think about
except like when he had like the. Yeah, like
what I was saying, think about who he is as a character now, and then try to make that into like a Playboy. It doesn't.
Yeah, that's probably the one thing they haven't done that well with, because Dick's probably been the most consistent character on the show since it started. That's probably the one thing that like they keep referring back to, but never really getting hinted at. I do agree, Calvin. She was incredibly attractive. But yeah, I just thought it was weird. Like I'm like every time we get in contact with a adult female character that Dick has a storyline with, there's some sort of like past relationship with them, and I'm like, okay, I can see that for Batman. It's almost like they want to make him into like a Bruce Wayne type character, and I don't like that. Like a playboy sort of thing.
Yeah, I think it's a bit cliche though. All right, so she's this whole box storyline with the heart in it. It's cursed and it turns Starfire into stone. and then Starfire's having these visions while that's going on. I didn't really totally get what was going on in that scene. Did you understand what was happening there?
I mean, I think it's meant to be something that's like it's set up for something later in the season, because it just felt like the most unusual thing in the episode. I was like, okay, this feels a somewhat out of place, just because everything else felt connected. Like they're all going down like the same path towards like the end goal with the Church of Blood stuff,
right?
And then that randomly happened. So I was more like, that was like really the only personal storyline or storyline aspect in the episode. It just felt a bit out of place, but I'm assuming it's set up for something, 3 or 4 episodes down the track.
Yeah. All right. So the next thing to talk about is she convinces that Nightwing that there is a spell or a curse from a dark elf, and only the elf has the power to undo this curse. And it's all a ploy because she has like a death mark and owes like 5 million. Was that the amount of money that she owed? It was like 5 million or something like that. And they go to this like bar. So this one scene was weird to me. I felt like this hidden club felt like Gotham more than it did Metropolis. Like when I was watching that, I was like, this feels like something that would exist in Gotham and not so much in Metropolis. It just felt a little out of place for me. So
yeah,
it was kind of neat though. I thought it was fun. And we got to see like this weird underground society of like magic users. And she's playing along with this whole idea that this dark elf can take the curse off. And so we get this really cool fight scene between Nightwing and a bunch of like minions from this witch, I guess. And he kicks their ass pretty much. And I have to give him credit this season. The fight scenes is it just me or are they better this year? I feel like they're better than they have been. Maybe it's just the lighting. I don't know.
It might just be because they're able to rehearse more, because like last season was a COVID season, so maybe like the. I don't know, maybe it really feels like yeah.
And then she tried to use magic with the daggers. I thought that was kind of cool, but I'm like, you're shooting them in a straight line.
Yeah, how he avoided them.
Like,
and how he didn't stab anyone in the background either.
I know. I was like, somebody else is going to get hit with that, but I didn't see anybody get hit. So that was kind of interesting. But yeah, he finds out it was all, again, a ploy from her to, I guess, trick it. Like, what was the point of the ploy? What was the point?
So she could go into it was so she could go into the back room and steal something else that was worth.
Oh, that's money. Right. Okay, that's right. I was forgetting that. So that happens, and then it ends up that she's the one that could turn Starfire back from stone back to her normal form. And we kind of wrapped that storyline up. That was kind of it. But I do like Jinx, and I think she's going to be a lot of fun this season. We have Tim, who's training at Star Labs with Bernard and Connor and this weird VR thing. Is this the metaverse? Is that supposed to be the metaverse?
When that scene initially started, I thought this green screen is horrible. And then he whacked Connor and the glitch happened. I was like, oh, it's VR. But did you think it was like a real thing at first?
I did. I was like, what is happening here? I was a little bit worried. I was like, I gave them really good credit last week, and then this was what they were doing. I was getting a little bit concerned about it. But yeah, I was like, this is the metaverse, basically. Yeah, so we have that. Nathan Bell, who is a Team Eric member. Thank you so much, Nathan, has a Team Eric member chat. Hi, guys. I want to use this free chat, but I did have a question. Typical, would there be a chance for you guys to come into Ben's next members stream? Well, that's interesting that you mentioned that, Nathan, because Ben wanted to be here tonight, and then we basically agreed that he was going to show up, and then he couldn't be here. So we'll try to make it happen, I guess. I try to collab, and then things just don't always work out. So there's that. But thank you for the Team Eric member chat. And then we have the Mother Mayhem wants to trick Sebastian into going back to the game developers who didn't want his game. And then we get this gruesome scissor scene. Like, I was like, no. I kept looking away. I was like,
just make sure Eric's not talking about anything overly sexual when he says that. Just making sure people that don't know the context. Gruesome scissor scene could mean multiple things. So thank you, Eric.
Thank you for thanking me. I appreciate it.
Just clarifying the context.
But we have this scene with scissors and a face and eyes, and I was like, I can't watch this. This is really.
I was wondering when it happened. I was like, oh no, he's gonna stop him. He's gonna stop him. And I was like, okay, they're gonna do it quickly, or they're gonna do it off screen where they just get like Sebastian's reaction. but then you see it going slowly. It was like cutting a
Yeah.
cake. I was like,
Yeah.
all the
I was like,
sound
no,
effects
no,
and
no,
stuff.
no, 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 no.
And also,
we
to be honest, that would
Uh-huh.
not kill you straight away.
No,
You'd be on the floor going, "Oh, my eyes!"
Yeah, definitely. We also had blood spiders. I thought that was kind of cool. We saw that in the episode when they were going.
Yeah,
to
I was
warehouse
like,
or whatever.
Stranger Things. That's what I
Yeah,
was
it was a
thinking.
little out there. And the security and cops believe that Sebastian did this. He gets framed and taken in, and this is where the recruitment process begins. And before he can say the 3 words, Connor breaks through the wall because he had figured out there's a connection. We get the super speed scene with him where he takes Sebastian before.
And to be honest, how did Sebastian's head not get hit by some sort of flying?
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, there's a lot of debris flying around. So
I wouldn't want to be pulled through that at super speed.
Yeah. So now do you think that will he be able to say the word outside of her being there and still complete the transformation, or does she have to be there for that to happen?
Maybe he might get some of those like weird things that's been happening where he's been seeing something. So it wouldn't surprise me too much if maybe he muttered it to himself, but she might be able to get through it. I mean, she's been able to get through a lot, so she just seems to be able to pop up very conveniently. Yeah. And I don't know if the Titans can keep Sebastian under lockdown for that long. Like, where are they going to put him? They can't just keep him away forever.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was pretty much the gist of the episode. Am I forgetting anything? I think that was everything, right? Sebastian storyline, Connor, Tim, Jinx, Gar.
Yeah.
Raven. By the way, Raven's accent, you mentioned that on Twitter, that the actress is like her
Australian accent's coming through way too
having
much.
a Lena Luthor moment from Supergirl where the
but it's weird. So it's slipping. It's going like her, I guess, American accent she does for Raven goes into an Australian. But then there's some words where I didn't even know if it was intentional, but she did it in like a British accent. I'm like, what's going on there?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Sebastian Sterling Adams here with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. It was weird that Jinx knew Dick's secret ID. He should have been approached as Nightwing Robin. Did they address that at all, or like that she didn't know that he was someone else, that he was using a alias?
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember for sure. I'm gonna have to watch it again and see, but that would be weird if that was the case. But we don't know a lot about their history though. We just know that they were fooling around at one point, I guess. And
that he stopped it. Like she ended up there because of like an art deal thing.
Yeah. So, but thank you for the super chat. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out. But that was pretty much it. I felt like this episode was a building episode for the season.
I thought it was the best episode so far.
No, definitely it was solid. And I think it did a lot of work for the characters. So far, I think these first 3 episodes of Titans is for me the strongest beginning to a season for them. Would you agree with that?
It feels, I think it's the best platform they've laid, because even though people, I think like, how like last season everyone was like, oh, the first 3 episodes are really good, there was still a lot going on. There was so many characters there, and we knew that we're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff going, and obviously ended up falling apart
right
by the end of the season. But I just, to be honest, might eat my words come, whenever the season ends. I don't see how they fuck it up.
Right.
I don't see how they screw it up, because the guy that's playing Sebastian, who will eventually be Brother Blood, I'm sold on him. I don't know how he could, because we've already seen him be a bit like that evil look that he gave in the mirror when he was covered in blood and stuff in episode 1 or 2 or whatever it was. That sold me on him, and I think just the way he's acted and stuff, unless he, like when he's actually Brother Blood, it turns into like going too far, but I don't know why that would happen. The only thing that is stuff maybe going on with the personal stuff with the Titans. So what happens with Starfire, and if that continues in a more major way, does that take away from what's going on in the main story? Because that needs to be the focus. Because whenever they've really focused on a main story, that's where Titan sort of thrives, and it's when they really peel off into all this personal stuff that peels away from their main story, and then they try to put it back together again. That's where it all falls apart. So if they can just try and keep it focused, then I don't see how they stuff it up.
Yeah.
But I might be eating my words. Also, they are dealing with magic. which has me a bit worried because magic can be so flimsy sometimes.
It's kind of
But
a answer to everything, kind of.
Yeah,
So.
but they're going with the more horror side of things rather than like the mystical, magical side. They're really like leaning in the horror stuff, which makes me a bit more comfortable with that stuff happening this season.
So yeah, but I enjoyed the episode. I would probably give it like an 8 out of 10, maybe an 8.5 out of 10. It was really good.
Well,
I really enjoyed it.
I think last week I gave those 2 episodes like collectively like a 7. I think I gave it like a 7.5. So I'll probably give this like an 8. Yeah.
Chat.
I don't want to go too high because I think there'll be better episodes this season.
Yeah. I'm thinking this is just the beginning. Chat, what is your score of Titans episode 3, Jinx? Leave it in the chat. I'm curious what everybody thinks about this. Let's look at these numbers and see if people enjoyed it as much as we did. 8.5 out of 10. Myotis is 7 out of 10. See you later, Flash Freak. Have fun with Smallville. Let's see. I got to pull up my notes for Stargirl here. Wow, 6 out of 10. Wow, that's rough. Let's see. 7. Wait, wasn't there an episode of Smallville called Jinx? I think there was, actually.
Maybe. I haven't watched Smallville in ages.
It's been a long time. Toe Senior with the 7. 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Okay. So, I mean, I think that most people enjoyed the episode, so that's good. I'm really looking forward to the rest of Titans. Now we're going to be talking about Stargirl, season 3, episode 10, The Killer. So this is the episode we finally get the reveal of who did it. And I thought it was a great reveal. I want to talk about this first. I know there's a lot of stuff that happens in the episode, but I want to just talk about this first. So after spinning the, what are you going to say?
Oh, no, I was just want to quickly say, because it just popped into my head then, they're finally making a Gears of War movie, which I'm stoked about. I've been wanting this for like ages. I used to play Gears of War like hell in high school. I remember playing the Gears of War 2 campaign. I think it was Gears of War 2. And you do a co-op, and there's like me and 3 of my mates. And one of my friends started crying when one of the characters died. I can't remember what his name was. What was the guy's name? Gears of War characters. You have Marcus Phoenix, who's the main one. And if they don't cast Batista in that, I have no idea what they're doing.
He's been like a fan casting for what, a long time now. So
yeah, I think it was I think it was Dom that died in Gears 2. I think it was.
Yeah.
And one of my friends started crying. Oh man, that game was so good. Well, those games were good.
Yeah.
Gears of War.
All right, so Stargirl, season 3, episode 10, The Killer. We get the reveal on who did it. And we spend the episode. Well,
do we really?
We think we do. Okay. So after spending the episode, we have Sportsmaster and Tigress getting the chance to feel somewhat redeemed. Having Artemis get into the school she wanted to on a scholarship, which also that was kind of weird, right? The entire storyline with her wanting to join the JSA was kind of dropped. And then she did a phone call to her parents to say she got into class. Something about that felt like it wasn't intentional. Like they decided to do that at the last minute. Like her storyline. I don't know. It felt weird to me. Like it didn't feel like it lined up with everything that had been happening, right? Was that just me? It felt weird.
I don't know. I just felt like
they just dropped the JSA storyline with her completely. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird. We honestly didn't spend a lot of time with Artemis this season. I don't know if the actress wasn't available or what happened. She just kind of wasn't there. Now that I think about it, that was weird, right? She just wasn't around.
I don't know. Was she filming anything? What's her name?
I don't know, but isn't that weird? Like at the beginning of the season, she was there trying to get on the JSA, and then we had a bunch of stuff with the kids, and her parents were over there all the time, but she wasn't there. Like, what was she doing?
I know. I'm looking. Stella Smith is the actress's name. I know she was filming a show called Wolfpack, but that's not out. I think it seems like I don't know if she's a main character in that or not.
Right.
But that's filming like apparently like
okay. It just
I think it's only
weird
got a pilot episode or something. Yeah, she's a main character in it, but it's only a pilot episode, like one episode done.
So after spending a majority of the episode sort of redeeming themselves, they stumble onto an open manhole cover and head down to find the room with all the
always
TVs
a good idea.
To find a room with all the TVs in it. And while they're there, this masked man in a robe walks in and immediately shoots Sportsmaster. And at
I
first,
thought I was
didn't
watching. Do you think you're watching Squid Game?
Yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I don't understand. Anyway, immediately shoots Sportsmaster, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then we notice it's Ice, and then we get the reveal that it is Icicle. He's alive. I guess it's him, and it has been for we know, a while. And maybe he's behind all this surveillance, maybe not. This shocked me, and I really didn't think this was the direction we were going in. But looking back, I guess it could make sense. So let's talk theories about this before we move on, because I think it's important. I thought back to the clue from Thunderbolt about the many names. And then in this episode, when we have the storyline with Mike and Jakeem and the Ultra Humanite, we get the backstory from Starman and Pat that Ultra Humanite is able to transfer into other bodies. So is there a possibility that there's been some brain switching going on between characters? Is Starman Ultra Humanite? And is he stuck in Ultra Humanite's body? Because Starman was supposedly dead too. And so was Icicle. Does Ultra Humanite as a person of like science know how to bring dead corpses back to life, and he can like switch minds around or be inside of their brains? Is that a possibility, or
I mean, I don't know, because it's hard to tell. Like, if that gorilla, even if the brain was taken out, could still act in that way.
No, I don't mean taken out. I mean, what if he switched minds around? What if people's minds are in different bodies?
What? So you're saying that Sylvester's in the gorilla?
No. What if that original actress that he took over is in the gorilla? She's still stuck in the gorilla, and that he has jumped into another brain, like he's in Sylvester. And
so his brain is now in Sylvester's body.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
But the actress is in the gorillas.
Yes, because she was human, and her body probably would have died off at some point.
I mean, it's a possibility.
Because what would Ultra Humanite be doing if that was actually him? He would be capable of using his abilities and doing.
And also, do we know what? Because trying to think back to season 1, do we know what Dragon King was doing back then?
I don't think so.
Remember, he was still fiddling with bodies and stuff like that. Because in the comics, it creates like a mindless sort of like army sort of thing, like cronies.
So let me pull up a spreadsheet here.
What was he doing in season 1 when he was doing surgery on all those bodies?
All right, so we have
they could connect that to this storyline.
The actress, do you remember her name? What was her name? I don't remember her name.
Oh, fuck me. What's the name?
I'm just gonna put actress. We have
something has D in there.
Humanite Gorilla. We have Starman, and now we have Icicle. Okay, so that's 4 people that we know. 2 of
Dolores
them.
Winters. Dolores Winters.
Okay, all right. Yeah. Okay, so we have Dolores Winters, who was named and talked about very much like it was a big point of the conversation.
Yeah.
We have the
like they stopped
Gorilla.
to address who she was. Like they stopped to address for like 30 seconds who she was.
Yeah. Then we have the gorilla. We have Ultra Humanite, who doesn't seem to be themselves. Just kind of because Ultra Humanite is smart. This gorilla seemed to be very just kind of walking around,
but still be able to talk and everything like that.
Yeah. And then we have Starman and Icicle. So that's 4 characters that I think are somehow connected together. I think. Does Ultra Humanite have a way of resurrecting people, or is that Dragon King who's resurrecting people? I don't believe that Ultra Humanite is in that gorilla body. I think he's in someone else's, either Icicle's or Starman's. There's brain switching going on. I just know it because they made a point of talking about it. I just don't know who's in whose bodies. Like,
yeah, I don't know. It's so interesting now because everything could connect, like potentially full circle, even if they wanted to include the Dragon King stuff, and which you makes it. They're going to Dragon King's labs, which is where that on the farm. That's where they went and met, and that's where they encountered Ultra Humanite.
I think the mystery of that was it's been Ultra Humanite because of the growling and stuff. I think that's pretty much who that's been, to be honest.
Because if that's the case and it was maybe Ultra Humanite, then maybe whoever's in Ultra Humanite's body was hunting the other ISA members, and then that's why they found the gambler.
Maybe whoever's in Ultra Humanite's body is hunting down people from the ISA because they hold the ISA responsible for them being stuck in that body. Maybe it's a revenge plot.
Yeah. It could be multiple things. I don't think anyone's exactly sure what's going on if they are going for like a brain switching.
I'm telling you right now, they've done a great job this season. This mystery is really good.
Yeah, because we still don't know what's going. And as I said, remember a lot of people, you were saying it as well. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's a bit slow." But I think if it wasn't slow, we wouldn't be at this point where we're excited to see what happens, but also have no idea what's happening at the exact same time. I think it had to be slow because, mate, everyone thought it was Mr. Bones. Everyone thought it was Mr. Bones.
That was a huge misdirect. That was a great misdirect, by the way.
Yeah, perfect misdirect because we go there for 2 episodes. It's like, no, we're just staying with ourselves. I don't know what you're talking about. And it makes you even more annoyed the show is ending now.
Yeah.
It makes you even more annoyed because
it's going out on a high for sure.
Yeah, which is not, I guess that's like the silver lining of it all.
Yeah.
But I would love it if they somehow connected this back to what was going on in season 1 with Dragon King.
Wouldn't that be a great way to sort of like pull full circle for the series? That would be really good.
Yeah, in just a very coincidental way, like non-intentional, because they didn't think they were going to get, it wasn't planned to be a final season.
Mm-hmm. South Texas Shark with a $5 super chat. As soon as the Crocs were walking down the street, I knew they were going to die. Well, everything seemed to be going good for them. And when I saw the manhole cover open, I was like,
I think once they got down there and it just looked like a horror movie, like it looked like they were about to walk into a saw trap or something.
Yeah.
Like Jigsaw was going to roll out in his little tricycle thing.
Naruto here with a $5 super chat and a Team Eric member. I have a theory about Ultra Humanite. What if he's in Sylvester's body and someone else? I think that I must have caught that after, or that must have came up after we started talking about it. But yes, that is my theory, and I don't remember seeing anybody else talk about it, but it seems like it's the most obvious thing. Yeah, I think there's a lot of body switching going around. Do you think it's going to turn into a DeVoe situation, or do you think this is done much better?
Much better, because it's not being drawn out and body hopping. Like, we don't know who is who. We knew what DeVoe was. We got to see him transfer powers at the end of every.
Do you think the DeVoe storyline would have been better if we didn't know that was what was going on? That was just like.
Well, I don't think it would have worked. I think you had to know it was DeVoe and also I think anyone with half a brain would have been able to go, okay, that's DeVoe because he's clearly the villain of the season. But this one, we still don't know exactly who the villain is. Like, Icicle's alive, but we don't know. Like, Icicle, it seems like he's just been chilling in the bottom of.
Well, the other thing is
Icicle, like Icicle wouldn't have gone out to the trailer park,
right,
and been able to tear up the trailer like that. So
it also makes you wonder why. It's like whoever is in Icicle's body knows that going out in public would give them away, so that's why they're hiding out and not going out and doing anything.
Well, I think Icicle is Icicle.
I think it's him. Okay. Icicle. So you think he was just resurrected?
Mainly because even in the trailer, you see that his body hasn't even fully reformed yet. He's still missing. Like, he's still healing. Like, he still has the ice powers and everything like that. Like,
right.
And I don't know how you can construct that and give him powers if it wasn't Icicle. So I think Icicle is Icicle, but I think there's other stuff like.
But do you think that Starman is someone else? Because now I have a high probability that he's not himself.
Well, I think the fact that they haven't clearly said what's happened with Starman makes it sus. Like, you can't look at it and not be sus about it.
I just thought about this. The resurrection of Icicle now, or finding out that he's still alive, and Starman coming back from the death without us knowing how he came back, is red herrings. They're doing that to make us try and connect those two things together, but they're probably not connected at all. No. Icicle coming back is its own thing, and whatever's going on with Starman has to do with Ultra Humanite, and that's a separate situation. I believe that's what they're trying. They're trying to trick us into thinking that those things are the same, because they were both characters that were dead and now they're back.
Yeah.
They're doing really good.
They are mind effing us, like, very, very good, because it could be the most simple story that could play out in these last 3 episodes, or it could be as like in depth as we're trying to portray it is. Could be somewhere in the middle. Could even be more in depth and crazy.
Yeah,
That somehow works.
Oh man,
What if it's Zeke?
Mm.
Well, he has been. Where's Zeke been the last few episodes?
True.
Question mark. Is Zeke Ultra Humanite confirmed?
We also had the Ma Kent family storyline this week, which did tie into the big reveal at the end, obviously, with Courtney and Cameron calling it quits. The more I thought about that love story, the more I was like, it's fucking weird, right? Like,
I've always thought it was weird that Courtney was even got involved with Cameron. I always thought it was didn't feel natural, but I think it was just for storyline purposes, so they could have
it just like, I'm thinking of it this way. Take the superhero aspect out of it for a moment and just think about the human side of these characters. Her brother killed his dad, even though he's a supervillain. I'm not saying that, I'm not holding that against Mike. But she started dating him and was keeping that from him and then lied about who did it. So she lied up until the end of this relationship. That's just weird. Like, I don't totally get it. I mean, it's not bad writing. Like, I don't think it's bad writing. It's just a questionable choice for Courtney's character.
Yeah.
And it makes you think about everything else that people say about her. You know what I mean? Because everybody's like, oh, Courtney's so nice. Courtney is, so positive, whatever. But then she kept this big thing from Cameron that was extremely, like, it was a huge thing. Just kept it from him and then lied to him at the end instead of just saying that it was her brother. It's just, the more I thought about it, the more I was like, this is really weird.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
It makes me question Courtney's character in general. Like, I mean, let's be honest, Courtney's not made the best decisions throughout her time on Stargirl anyway. That's kind of her thing, but it's kind of weird. Also, I want to say that the grandparents, that room in that house has had more usage this season than any other set. Like, every time someone goes to that house, they end up in that same room every single time. And I get it's for budget. This is not me knocking it. It's just one of those funny things that you notice, like when Sportsmaster and Tigers were there and they were talking to them, I was like, they've been in this room like 10 times this season. Like, every episode they're in that room. And it's a huge house. So you would think they would have other spaces that they could talk in, but they always end up in that room. It's just kind of funny. We had the stuff obviously with Mike and Jakeem and Ultra Humanite. And so that was an interesting thing with Cindy. Nothing really major to talk about there. Anything big, any revelations from that or not? Because I know a lot of people want to see Cindy transform, but I don't know if we're going to get that until the very end.
Well, they did mention Batman.
They did, but I just was like,
Batman confirmed.
Yeah.
Watch out, next DC TV show video.
Yeah. But that's pretty much it, really. I mean, this episode really was just a really solid, like, answering questions and doing what they've done best this season and presenting more questions with those answers, which is a great way to write a mystery for the season. I think it's always good when that happens, so I'm looking forward to it. Is there anything I missed from the episode that you want to talk about? Because I think we covered all the big stuff, right? So Zoe's had an interesting comment. It's lacking a lot of Stargirl since the show is literally called Stargirl.
Yeah, the show's called Stargirl, but this season hasn't really warranted her walking around as Stargirl.
It's also been called Frenemies, so we knew it was going to be an ensemble season from the beginning. It was called Frenemies, but I get it. I get the complaints. I think that's pretty much it. I think it's going to be interesting to see how Stargirl is going to tie into Titans, because we know that crossover is going to be happening. Has it been confirmed yet if this is going to be the same Stargirl, or are we still waiting to find out about that?
I don't know if they've said anything about it.
Okay. So there we go. I would probably give this episode like I would say like a 9 out of 10.
It was, because it the fallout from the previous episode into the episode was good, but then the build up to obviously just the mind fuck of it all.
Yeah.
And then the icicle stuff, I thought like that was great. Like that ending was top tier ending for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we did have some stuff with Rick, but it was very minor. It's just more of the like his hourglass situation. I didn't want to talk too much about it because it didn't really go anywhere. It was just like he's still dealing with the same thing that he was from last episode. I don't think we're going to be covering that until closer to the final episode. I think it's going to be a big deal leading up into the end.
Yeah, there's still 3 episodes to go. Like you think about how much they can get done in 1 episode, let alone 2. But
it does.
Then we have 3. Does it?
Don't mess with my emotions, JK. Your name is JK. Is this a joke?
Having a look.
Please don't do that. I don't want it to go on break. It's got good momentum right now.
No. Oh no, it's on this. No, it's on November 16th.
Well, the finale is December 7th, and there's only 3
it goes on break.
Left.
It goes on break after next week's episode.
So the penultimate. And
the after this episode, he's talking about next episode. It goes on after break.
Oh,
so he's not saying this episode. We're talking about the episode. That's airing this week.
Yeah. So Keita, that's right. Thanksgiving. So they're doing that because of the holiday here because it would be during the holiday, so they don't want to.
Yeah. So there's no episode on November 23rd.
Right.
And then we have the last 2 episodes after that.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. There we go. Cullen says, do you think that Grundy will return? I mean, I feel like he has to before the end of the season.
I think he will. So. I think you're probably going to get Grundy versus Ultra Humanoid. Think?
That's most likely it. Yeah. All right. So that is it. We are done with that. And this is going to be opening the floor up for any last minute comment. Look at that, Paige. You like that? It went to the next
random.
So random. A couple things before we go. Yeah, you guys, if you want to super chat questions about anything we've talked about, feel free to do so. Paige, are you going to see Black Panther? That is the question.
I don't know, because I made an executive decision this year going into everything. I'm not seeing a movie, and I didn't see Black Adam. I haven't seen a bunch of movies, but I'm not seeing a movie in the theaters unless it sells me. Like I made this my personal choice. Mm-hmm. So I've only seen like a handful of movies this year. Like
so you were not sold on Black Adam either.
No. So Black Panther to me and Black Adam just seem like I don't have to go rush out and see them. I can wait till they come out on streaming and stuff like that.
Okay.
And
So is there any movie for the rest of the year that you're planning on going to see, or is that pretty much it for you? There's nothing else that you're going out
maybe Avatar, just because I think you have to see that movie. I think you have to see that movie in a theater.
Okay. Keita says Paisley's not see movies with the word black.
Did I have I seen a movie with lately? Black. I don't know what's a movie recently that came out with Black Adam. But it's very important to remember, like the Australian theater experience with movies isn't like it is in America, where everyone just yells and talks and stuff like that, and claps at the end of movies and stuff like that. You don't get that here. You don't get that. People actually just they go in, sit down, watch, leave. Right. That's it. So there's no real experience when it comes to Black Swan, but that's like ages ago.
Yes. So
I think the only 2 movies I've seen are Top Gun and Elvis, I think. Or did I see one earlier? I have a feeling... Oh, no, I saw Doctor Strange. But I got to see that for free. I didn't have to pay.
Okay. So, how would Paige rate Black Panther Wakanda? Well, he's not going to see it. So until it comes out, you'll have to wait for that. But I did a spoiler-free review on my channel a couple days ago. I think I put it out on Thursday night, maybe Friday morning. Can't remember. One of those 2. And we're going to do a spoiler review either tomorrow or Monday night, I think is the plan. And we'll talk about it there. Because I'll be honest, there's not a ton of spoilers in the movie. There's maybe 3 things I can think of on the top of my head that's super spoilery. And most of it has to do with like setting up stuff for the future. The movie pretty much is exactly what you think it's going to be.
Oh my god! I just realized I saw Morbius in theaters this season.
Oh, that's right.
This year, but saw it for free. Listen, if I paid for Morbius, we didn't go and watch Black Adam or Black Panther, then you could definitely roast me. But I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, I get that COVID's going to affect it. I still think that Black Panther is going to be able to get close to that $1 billion.
Well, didn't it get I think they said like if it might not, but it'd have to have a big drop off. I think they said like it might not. It'd have to have like. They said like people would have to be like conserving money. They think Christmas is the only thing that they think could be the worry because it's so close to Christmas. And
very similar to Black Adam. It had a huge opening. It was like 84 million opening day. So
they're
saying that the weekend is tracking really good for it. It's going to make a ton of money this weekend.
Yeah, I think that I've read the thing I read was like, they were only worried about it not hitting $1 billion. They think it won't pass the first movie. They think it's not going to get near the first.
No, I don't think it'll reach the first movie either. I don't see.
But I think in regards to $1 billion, because that's always the big talk with, especially when it comes to a Marvel movie or a sequel to a movie that made.
It's almost at 120 million worldwide already, and they haven't even tracked tonight's sales. So
yeah, so it'll probably get like around probably close to what Doctor Strange did. Mm-hmm. If not,
Kita, Doctor Strange didn't either, and that movie was just 50 million shy of $1 billion. So they could still get there.
Yeah, it depends what the repeat viewings are, because that's probably the only issue that I've heard is that I haven't heard any. You haven't seen anyone go. They can't wait to go watch it again.
Right.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of like maybe because of the tone of the movie and the general feel. It's not necessarily an overly rewatchable movie, but. Mm-hmm. That I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I'll be able to.
Lloyd, I appreciate you cheerleading for Black Adam, but the a $5 million day is nothing. Like that's not an uptick. And an uptick to me would be like a $20 million weekend or something. It just.
I mean, I think we all wish Black Adam did better, but it didn't. It just,
let's stop fooling ourselves. I mean, it's 329 million now. We've already established it's not going to get more than 450 million. That's it. It will not break that amount.
Why did China ban Black Panther, by the way? Because we know why they did Black Adam, but what was with Black Panther?
Okay, so here's the deal. Supposedly, after doing some digging, the Chinese market is trying to promote more homegrown movies, so they're putting less space out for international films,
like cinemas to go watch them in,
actual
theaters.
So they're not accepting a lot of American films, and there also might be the fact that they're just over Marvel's, the way they're making movies now. They might be like, well, look, they're putting more like LGBTQI stuff in it. There's more diversity. There's more magic stuff and mystical stuff, which seems to be something that the Chinese market doesn't want to get involved in because of the cultural stuff. So I don't know. I have no idea. I don't think there's been any real reason why, but
is China against the whole LGBT stuff? I thought that was more like the Arab countries.
I do believe that they have banned stuff with that in it before.
Okay, because I know that there's like a lesbian relationship or something in Black Panther too.
Well, it's not a full on like thing, but it is alluded to. Yeah, so that might be it, because Night Dark here says they banned because of Io and Nikita. Yeah.
So that's why they actually banned it. Is that like an actual?
I don't know. It's speculation. Like I said, there's several reasons why it could have been banned, but I don't think there's been any real definitive because China doesn't always give reasons. Like,
but also China's getting into that where they're trying to almost like cut off from the Western world almost. Like we're just below them down here, and it's such a dramatic thing, the whole Australia-China relationship, because of trade and everything like that. There's all that drama around it. Like we think we're going to get bombed or something half the time because of that.
One thing I don't get, and this happens a lot in the chat, and I'm just curious for people that are doing this before we go, because we are going to be wrapping up in just a second. What is the general reason for this Marvel versus DC stuff that you guys do? I'm just curious because I like both. I like DC, I like Marvel. I go and see both the movies. I collect comics from both companies. I watch cartoons from both companies. I have merchandise from both companies. Is there any reason why people like pick one side and then go, I'm just going to shit talk the other one? I'm just curious. Is there a legitimate reason, or is it just because? Like, because you can love something without shit talking something else.
I don't know if it just comes down to a basic rivalry. So if it just not even it comes down.
But
to
it's a weird thing because those companies are not. They have people that work cross lines. They're not necessarily fighting. You don't see Marvel going better than Black Adam. Like, they don't advertise that way. It's the fans that do that.
Yeah, it seems a bit weird to me because like the more logical, if you're gonna have this rivalry, you go, oh, this one's shit. It would be more like Marvel and DC up against something like Star Wars or something, not Marvel versus DC. You'd have it like, because the thing is, Marvel being successful helps DC and vice versa.
I'm just trying to figure out.
Except for when it becomes this rivalry thing, when someone's like, I'm only going to see Marvel movies, or I'm only going to see DC movies, or I'm only going to go see other comic book companies.
Yeah, so yeah, like what Joey is saying, I don't understand, because I've loved comics since I was a kid. And I've always collected from both companies and even independent comics, like indie comics and stuff like that. But I don't think there's any real reason to shit on somebody else's plate because I like the food that I'm eating. That doesn't really make any sense to me.
Kater, you're referring to David Ayer when you say that.
I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't get it, because there's far too much stuff to love. Like, enjoying both of them is a lot more fun than having to constantly defend your stance.
Well, here's the thing, this probably helps. You might not like me asking this young DJ Erickson the third.
Mm-hmm.
Which one do you prefer, DC or Marvel? Because it can't be even.
No.
I don't believe anyone when they say it.
But I don't really think that has anything to do with my argument.
No, but I just for curiosity.
I prefer Flash is my favorite superhero. Period, hands down. But I like some of the actual stories from Marvel better, like, because I grew up reading the X-Men, so a lot of those classic X-Men stories are the ones that I really love.
But do you think if X-Men wasn't in Marvel, you prefer DC?
What do you mean? Like, if they were
like, if well, let's just say DC was it as it was and Marvel is what it is, but you take out X-Men from Marvel, do you think you'd like DC more?
I mean, I might, but I still wouldn't be like, fuck Marvel. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
you wouldn't. Yeah, you wouldn't. Yeah, get a poster and. Or
that's what I'm saying. Though. That's my whole argument, is that it's okay to like one more than the other. I don't understand the constant need for people to cross the lines and attack people, because both companies have enough content that you don't even have to dip your toes into the other one if you don't want to.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. Usually, like my whole thing was that like I wouldn't be like specific to buying, because I don't read too much comics now, because if I'm just being completely honest, I think comics most of the time nowadays are just pretty shit. I think you're more likely to get a shit comic than a good comic, when back, 10, 15 years ago, it'd be the opposite.
Right.
But to me, my thing's always been like, I'll see what interests me. Like one of my favorite series in comics that I read, that like short little thing where I read a storyline, was the Black Panther one from 2010.
Right.
2011. Like, that's the one where like Shuri takes over and there's like whole Illuminati thing going on there. Yeah. That's one of my favorite comic runs, that Black Panther one. But I wouldn't be able to tell you any other Marvel series I was reading back then. It was all DC. Right. But my favorite comic book run at that point was that not Captain Marvel, Black Panther one.
Yeah.
But it didn't mean I loved Marvel more than DC or
but my whole point is that like I think it's okay to have a favorite, but I also think it speaks to your character on how you handle someone else's favorites. Like
if I go up to you and say I love DC and you just give me the finger and go fuck you and just walk away.
Yeah, that's kind of
not a fan of that.
Because I think people don't understand, you can love something more than the other stuff, but that doesn't mean you have to like shoot down other people's things. So sorry,
R2D2 came in for a last minute cameo.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just
I hope this is a joke, because this is a really dumb fucking statement.
I'm assuming it's a troll, but it's like how how everyone knows your favorite food is pizza.
Mm-hmm.
I only like pizza every now and then. I probably only eat it like maybe like once every 2 weeks or something. It's a bit too much for me. But I'm not going to go, Eric, you fucking idiot.
Well, I'm also not going to expect you, but I'm also not going to expect you to love pizza as much as me.
Yeah, you're not going to expect it the same way. You're not expecting me to reciprocate your.
I actually think the community would be better off if we just start focusing on, and it's never going to happen. This is a utopian
it's a
concept, but it always baffles me, because as a community, we could get so much more accomplished if we just stop fighting with each other about this stuff and really supporting the artist and the people that make this content. Because the majority of the time, the people complaining and fighting are not creative people. They're people that are fighting on behalf of other creative people.
Yeah. I just realized you got different things. You got all these squiggly lines up here, and then like the X with the. Didn't realize they were different until now.
Yeah, they're different.
I am not a Snyder shill. Jesus Christ, Eric's more of a Snyder shill than I'm. 10
I
times more of a
love
Snyder
the
shill than
Snyder
I am.
cut of Justice League. I watched that movie like 4 times. So.
Oh, okay, Eric.
What is that, like 16 hours of my life that were gone?
Yeah, that's not a flex. That's not the flex you think it is.
Anyway, it is now time to wrap up the stream. We're at the 2-hour mark. I want to thank everybody for coming in. We had candid graphs earlier with the set photos. If you're watching this on playback, I believe there will be timestamps if Martin is so kind to put them down below. Because I'll be completely honest, I'm just too lazy to do it, and Martin does a great job. So there we go. But go back and watch. We have a bunch of stuff we talked about, and we reviewed Titans. We talked about Stargirl. And join me for my Black Panther spoiler review. It'll be posted soon. We have a watch along coming up. It's already posted on my members only tab. What were you going to say? You're laughing at something.
No, JK wrote, didn't you buy the steelbook for that page? The answer is yes, but my intention is to sell it when it goes up in price. That's my intention.
All right. I will be on Twitch tomorrow night. I'm not sure what time, so make sure you are following me over on Twitch. And if you're watching this on Twitch, which we have a couple of viewers over there, it's like the after party always does better over here, obviously. But if you're watching me over on Twitch, make sure you've got notifications on for my.
Did you set up
stream.
your little subscriber thing yet, or?
Yeah, it should be good to go. So we'll be
hold on. Let me have a look before.
Check over there. Check and see. Check and see.
Wait, firstly, can you not yell at me? And
Check
secondly, let me have a look. I can see that you're over there. No, I can't subscribe. There's no subscribe option.
So I did something wrong then. Yes and no. So I'm going to ask, is Page amazing? Yes or no, and see if this poll works. No, it did not. So something is still off then. I have to fix something in there because that was happening to me the other day. So anyway, everybody have a good night. I'm out of here. I will see everyone tomorrow over on Twitch. So take care.